Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to be talking about a video that's making the rounds on social media for all the wrong reasons. It comes from a channel titled Catastrophic Claire Rar. Yes, very Rar XD, Quirk Chungus, Hot Topic, etc, etc. But the video people are talking about is her latest one titled Japan Wants to Censor Anime, Asmongold Reaction. Now in this video, not only does she call out Asmongold, but she also calls out the entire anime and manga industry, as well as Japanese society, which according to her is so predatory and dangerous, pretty much no woman is safe in Japan. Now let's start with the thumbnail itself. It is pretty heinous. It is implying very heavily that Asmongold is trying to protect predators. Now what justifies in her mind this slander? Well, it comes from a clip from a recent Asmongold video where he's talking about censorship of anime and manga.
It's about going in favor of free expression and free speech without having a unelected cabal of companies acting as a cartel that are behaving as censors for that speech and expression.
Like, it's just so sad that people are saying this and it's just going unchecked, and I just wanted to say my piece on it.
So basically, what Asmongold is saying is that groups like the United Nations or payment processors like Visa or MasterCard should have no say in the production of anime and manga in Japan. And hot take, he's correct. These organizations have really no sense being involved with these things. It's way beyond their reach. They shouldn't be controlling what's going on in the anime and manga industries. And anyone who disagrees with that has to basically bootlick the United Nations, which we'll talk about them later in the video. They are a terrible organization that has been going after Japan for decades now, trying to demonize and categorize a lot of fictional content as illegal, as she will do in her own video. So let's let her continue on. This is actually from one of the clips she posted herself on a Twitter, but let's give it a listen.
But in 2024, it's still legal to own anime and manga child pornography. And let me tell you, it is a booming industry.
So as always, I think there's something very disturbing about likening real life victimization to manga panels. But as always, if you don't like certain aspects of anime or manga or just fictional content generally, that's okay. That's your prerogative. You're allowed to not like things, but it doesn't justify you demonizing and attacking an entire nation of people as well as the related mediums. And on top of that, if you're going to create this standard for other people where in the video she says if a character's under 18 and sexualized, that's CP. Well, that standard's not going to just be applied to the people you're attacking. It's also going to be applied to yourself. And if you look through her Twitter account, I mean, you have characters like this from Sailor Moon. This character's 16 years old. She made AI-generated art with obviously some sexual aspects to it with the hashtag booba, and she would do that again, same character with hashtag thick thighs, posting this that she created with AI as well. That would make her a hypocrite under her own standards. On top of that, she's a big Evangelion fan. I mean, if you've watched the anime, you know there's a lot of fan service featuring underage characters, so clearly she either didn't watch this or she's just a massive hypocrite. And of course, you know, because I always check this.
Real one. Whoever put this in, absolute real one. The voice is Hugh Jackman, by the way. And he plays the Easter Bunny. Oh, he's so great. I love his voice in this movie. I love his character in this movie. He's such like a hard ass rabbit, and you don't see it a lot. So yes, definitely smash.
Ding, ding, ding. She's a furry too. Yeah, pretty much anytime you see someone talking about anime and manga and trying to demonize it, they almost always consume the exact same content themselves. And on top of that, they're a furry. It pretty much happens every single time. But let's continue on with her clip here.
You can literally go nearly to any massive manga stores and areas in the major cities in Japan, and you will find areas of that manga store that is specifically for Lolita characters.
So this is a very simple point, but it's definitely always worth making. If she considers this stuff in the background to be CP, By her own standard, she downloaded it, probably uncensored, and then posted it for thousands of people to see online. By her own standard, she just downloaded and then redistributed CP. Like, are you crazy in your mind or something? Like, why would you ever think this is okay while you're demonizing it at the same time? It's just, it just shows how stupid all these arguments are and how hypocritical all these people are.
Characters. And Lolita, if you don't know what that means, it means young girl. And
it literally just means like cute fashion, by the way.
This is the problem that the UN wants them to address. Honestly, I don't care if the character is over 18. If the character is over 18, I'm just going to be like, cool, yeah, whatever you're into, man. If you want to look at that, that's cool. But not children. That is so up.
So she's trying to basically mask what the UN is doing. She's saying this is all about protecting kids and it's only targeting the specific types of characters she's talking about, but that's a gross misrepresentation of what they're trying to do at the UN. So here's what they're actually doing. They've been targeting Japan for many, many years, and they can't really explain why they're singling out Japan in the first place. But anyways, this is what they're talking about with some of these pushes that the United Nations are doing. The final observation expressed concern that pornography, video games, manga, and other animated products may promote gender and sexual orientation-based violence against women and girls, and recommended that existing legal measures and monitoring programs be effectively implemented to address the production and distribution of pornography, video games, and animated products that promote discriminatory gender stereotypes and reinforce sexual violence against women and girls. So it's not just these specific young characters she's talking about. It's anything that promotes discriminatory gender stereotypes, whatever the hell that means. And without any sort of research or basis to make these claims, they say that these things in fictional content are somehow leading to real life abuse. These people are basically just a repackaging of 90s soccer moms who used to say violent video games make violent people, right? It's the same argument. It's just so woke, it's backwards. And now we're having people trying to justify these connections between anime, manga, and what have you to predatory behavior. And the only thing they're working on is their own emotions. They have no actual proof of anything. And looking at the standard about promoting discriminatory gender stereotypes, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the kind of stuff they're talking about. This is one of her own posts from very recently. I mean, look at not only the character that would probably fall under these United Nations standards here, but also the hashtags. It's got to put out hashtag Gooner, hashtag Goon, hashtag Degen. Very interesting stuff. But let's talk about the UN for a second. So I can't imagine bootlicking the United Nations. It couldn't be me. They are pretty much what is the equivalent of an international criminal organization. What else do you describe them as? So even some of the top children's rights officials in the United Nations have been jailed for charges relating to the abuse of children. In fact, there are endless articles you can find that are just so beyond disturbing. Report finds UN employs 3,300 predators responsible for 60,000 R words in the last 10 years. Here's another one saying UN peacekeepers ran a child S-ring in Haiti, and it goes on and on and on. Like, they are genuinely a very dangerous organization, and you have to rely on their word and what they're trying to do to justify banning anime and manga. Like, these people are not to be trusted whatsoever. But she continues on here.
And that's what the UN wants them to address, because it's actually scary being a woman in Japan. They literally have specific train carriages that women can take to not share carriages with men during busy travel times so that they don't get sexually abused or touched inappropriately or have pictures of their upskirts taken just trying to get home from work. Or
so this pretty much is where it always ends up, right? So it begins with, I don't like this anime and manga, blah, 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 blah. And then it turns into just, well, I mean, what else do you call it? Racism. They're basically trying to imply that the entire nation of Japan is so predatory that no woman is safe in that country. And it's an absolutely outrageous thing to say. Yes, there are sex crimes in Japan, just like there are throughout the entire world, but it doesn't make Japan unique in any sort of a way. And the only justification this person has is because they produce anime and manga, which that somehow makes them special. I mean, of course, reported sex crimes are sometimes a misleading number because people just don't report that they're victimized. But this person's from Ireland, trying to be a white savior and wagging their finger at Japan. Look at the rates at Ireland versus Japan. Again, reports aren't the most reliable thing, but I think maybe, just maybe, you should sit this conversation out. But let's wrap this up here. One more quote I want you guys to listen to.
And I think if you're a real person with a real conscience and your heart goes out to the women of Japan who have to put up with these men, then you should be on the side of UN for them to be more censored and not allow for this to happen.
No words, ladies and gentlemen. You have to take the side of the UN here and ban this anime and manga. Otherwise, you just don't care about women. I guess that's the route we're going with this one. This is insane. Also, I think her mind would explode if she found out that a very large portion of hentai artists are women. So, like, what are we... it's all just men? This went from, I don't like anime and manga, to there's a big predatory problem in Japan, and also Japanese men are somehow uniquely dangerous. I mean, that's how far it went. All you had to do was say, I don't like these things in certain anime and manga, I'm just going to avoid them. But no, it goes to this level, and it always does for some reason. But that's going to do it for this video. I thought this was pretty insane, so I wanted to talk about this with you guys. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.